Hi, my name is Yannick van Lochem, and it is my great pleasure that today I will be introducing to you a new concept of skin quality improvement. This is not a medical device, this is cosmeceuticals. So it's not just a skincare line, it is actually a new way of looking at how we can propose skincare to our patients. So today, let me introduce to you Skintellectual Solutions. So I would like to start with the philosophy and then talk about their cosmeceuticals. This is a series of webinars and this is the introduction of that. So the philosophy. So what they philosophize and what they think is important is a holistic aesthetic approach for the aesthetic professional. So they're actually making the skincare for us as physicians to use our medical knowledge in order to prescribe skincare to our patients. Because there's actually in the market today, this is a very noisy market, and there's a lot of marketing claims that are very often not really based on scientific reality, but more on influencer opinions, etc. So is that very reliable? I don't think so. So we need science. And if you look at the data, the surveys show that the dermatologists, the aesthetic practitioners, they are actually the #1 influencer when it comes to decision making on which skincare products the patients are actually putting on their face every day. So your opinion about your advice about what you tell your patients what to put on their face, that's for a very high percentage going to be exactly that they put on their face. So why not make that the best that they can have? So when the patient asks a doctor for skincare advice right now, what normally would happen is that what you have on your shelf is something that you would prescribe to your patient. So basically you're giving your patient a generic solution, a one-size-fits-all solution. And actually, is that really something that we should be doing? And of course, I do the same thing because there is no alternative. But now there's Skintellectuals. So Skintellectual Solutions is actually doing what we should be doing from the start. We should have a medical approach. So we should make a diagnosis. We should know what exactly the elements are of skin aging, and then we should target these elements in a specific way, with a specific concentration of active ingredients, and move away from these marketing terms and marketing claims. So that is exactly the philosophy of Skintellectual. So first, each patient is unique and requires an individual approach, right? So we make a very specific diagnosis with our knowledge of skin aging. We all know extrinsic, intrinsic aging, and there's actually an app that will guide us and help us make that aesthetic diagnosis. And then we should know what to prescribe. Now, fortunately, Skintellectual has done that for us. They have been doing a lot of good homework to find which ingredients are the most proven active ingredients. And then in a combination therapy, we can help our patients with giving them only what they need for their skin. And that is actually how that skincare advice will actually be happening. So the Skintellectual skincare advice is like this. 1, we make the holistic diagnosis together with the app, right? Of course, we also have to take into consideration some lifestyles information of the patient. Then we have our diagnosis, and we target the main aging and aesthetic mechanisms for treatment, right? So that means that we then can select the active ingredients and to reverse those signs of aging, and then the patient receives the recommendation, right? So then the patient will receive skincare that is actually tailor-made to their specific skin and their specific moment in time as well, because of course the skin ages and then problems may change. And this is because every patient is unique, and every unique patient is also different over time. So Skintellectual helps you to give your patient continuously what they need at the present moment. And of course, we know all the intrinsic and extrinsic skin aging factors, but there's more to it than that. So there's also other factors that influence the skin beyond photoaging, right? So there's lifestyle, there's pollution, etc., etc. So there's basically a whole set of factors that will determine the patient's skin, let's say, fingerprint, because each individual patient is unique, of course, but also each individual patient's skin is unique. So we really have to come to the personal ID of the patient's skin, and that will give us a very good idea of what we can do to our patients. So there is a variety of aging mechanisms that should be targeted, because every different skin problem has its different diagnosis. So the general diagnosis may be skin aging, but then sub-diagnosis can be like a multitude of different diagnoses. And they can be, it's not a black and white situation, because depending on the severity of these diagnoses, we can change the percentage of the active ingredients, right? So then we also have to have a full range of active ingredients present in our clinics in order to modify the aging process of the skin of the patient, right? So the multimodal approach in aesthetic treatment it's really important to maintain and increase the efficacy of aesthetic procedures, because if we have a very good skincare that we can offer to our patients, then they will be even happier with the other treatments that they will give them, right? That we will give them. So, for example, botulinum toxin, fillers, lasers, etc. If we combine that with giving our patient a very beautiful skin that glows and that feels good and it looks healthy, they will be even happier with our other treatments that we offer them. So let's look at the cosmeceuticals. Of course, this is the mission and the positioning of Skintellectual Solutions, and basically what they're saying, they are here for us, right? They have done all the homework, they have all the scientific backup of their ingredients, and they help us make the diagnosis because they have a very good app that they also supply with the products that will help you get to the final diagnosis of the patient, right? And then Skintellectual Cosmeceuticals is more than cosmetics, right? But we treat it like a drug because we really have to go into specific ingredients and specific diagnosis, but it's not a drug. So we don't have to prescribe it and we don't have to let the pharmacy deliver it, because these are over-the-counter products, over-the-counter ingredients, but they have drug-like effects, right? They're very effective. And if you ask Albert Klickman, who's basically the godfather of cosmeceuticals, he would say that, well, there's three questions. First, can the active ingredient go through the stratum corneum and reach the target cell or the target? Second, is there a known specific biochemical mechanism of action in the target cell? And three, is there any scientific backup, proper scientific backup? So with the skincare line of Skintellectual, what they actually do is, first of all, they select all these active ingredients. Second, they have a patented technology of delivering those ingredients into the skin, and then you have really a very amazing combination. So this is the patented technology of halospheres.
Skintellectual skincare products are microemulsions with the dermatologically active ingredients. The highest concentration of the active ingredient in Skintellectual skincare product is found inside the microparticles called halospheres, with a size of less than 10 nanometers. Each halosphere has a biphasic lamina consisting of hydrophilic hyaluronic acid molecules and cell lattice creating polymer. The lamina protects the active ingredient from oxidation and sustains its stability for a long time. Microemulsion contains high concentration of low molecular hyaluronic acid in the active ingredient as well as the halospheres. Airless dispenser protects microemulsion from exposure to sunlight and oxygen. When applied on the skin, Skintellectual microemulsion produces an immediate hydrating effect due to high concentration of hyaluronic acid. Hyaluspheres quickly penetrate epidermis. Hyaluronic acid supplied by the hyalusphere starts to attract water. This water binding process ensures a prolonged hydration to the skin and also maintains hyaluspheres on the epidermal layer for a long time. Polymer molecules from the hyalusphere's lamina slowly degrade and release the active ingredient over time. As a result, hyaluspheres provide a long-lasting release of active ingredients and increase their effect due to prolonged contact of active substance with its receptors. High concentration of active component in Skintellectual microemulsion is maintained in the skin for more than 6 hours. Skintellectual microemulsions with the hyalusphere technology guarantee stability of concentration, high efficiency and high absorption of the active ingredients and deliver a prolonged therapeutic effect.
So yeah, these microemulsions, they're really amazing because first of all, they will make sure that the active ingredient actually reaches the target. And second of all, they immediately go underneath the surface of the skin, so there's no oily or shiny result after applying the product on your skin. And they're only 1 to 10 nanometers, so this is like a very, very thin, very small little microspheres. So the Skintellectual model is as follows. Trained aesthetic practitioner diagnoses the patient with the app, and then the diagnosis results in a skincare advice with specific ingredients tailored to this patient's problems. And then as a result, there is a skincare set that includes a set of active microemulsions with specific ingredients in high concentrations to treat the patient's skin problem. So that is the introduction of Skintellectual. Thank you for watching.